and welcome to my fourth video about homeschooling for people who are simply curious and want to know more. In the last video, spoke about why I'm using this, and you can go back and watch that. I thought I would get through it, do 5 families at a time in the next 3 videos. Well, I've done this same video a lot of times trying to get through sharing about 3 families, and I cannot do it. So I'm just going to use it as a skeleton from which to speak and do my best to keep it short and simple. So the foreword of the book is written by Michael Ferris, who is the head of the HSLDA, and he makes 2 really good points. One is that every child is different, and the second one is that there's no one right way to homeschool. And I think those are really wise points to bring out. And the first chapter is her introduction, and she makes several good points there that there's no such thing as a typical homeschool family, and I think that's one reason why I want to do these videos, because I have found that to be so true and so surprisingly true that I wanted to share about that. Another good point to bring out is that our focus from year to year can often shift. So you find yourself, just like in parenting, you find yourself in different seasons. So in one season, in the latter seasons of homeschooling, you're preparing for higher education, but you also might find yourself focusing in on building character or developing closer family relationships within and among your the immediate family, or emphasizing real life learning. These are all things that she says in the book, and bringing out a point about the real life learning. Just this is true for us. Just last week, I purposefully had my kids help out my dad, their grandpa, with his real estate mailings that he does every Christmas time. I really value getting them exposed to entrepreneurialism and business, and just kind of getting a feel for what goes on behind the scenes in a business to develop a certain level of respect for what it takes to run a business. And so here and there, we are in and about his office, and I like that. That's something that I value a lot, is their exposure to that. And of course, adult interaction during that time doesn't hurt at all, and is a good thing. A lot of other parents will do the same thing in terms of mission focus, doing different ministries throughout the year that their kids wouldn't otherwise have the chance to do during the daytime. And those real life experiences are extremely educational in terms of building character and everything else. So that's something I'm saying, just to add on to what she says in the book. Another good point that she says is most of the time you're going to find that homeschoolers are enthusiastic. Other times we just feel like failures at what we're doing. And I think that is so true. It's true in parenting, and it doesn't change when you're doing homeschooling, constantly questioning yourself, wanting to make sure you're doing the right thing. So you might realize that a common combination in homeschooling is with a working father and a stay-at-home mom with a number of children. However, what you might not realize is how more common than you think are other combinations, such as single mothers, full-time stay-at-home dads, teaching grandmas, traveling families, former public school teachers, and many that just have just one child and not a gazillion children. The thing that affects the different styles of homeschooling is that there's a whole lot of different educational philosophies out there. Those of you who are teaching professional teachers, you know that. And when you get into the world of homeschooling, that doesn't change. And there are, because of the different educational philosophies, there are a variety of curricula to choose from that go along with those variety of educational philosophies. And then you also have your teaching style. As a parent, you have the style that you like to learn, and then your kids have a style that they prefer to learn in. And so there is a learning curve there on how to develop your style of homeschooling based on your strengths and then your kids' needs. So that affects that. And so you can imagine with those variables, it changes every single household into a very specific, unique situation based on also the season of life, what's going on in the household, whether there are new babies coming, or whether there's been a death in the family and there's some time that has to be taken off for that, or whether a dad has been deployed, or there's all kinds of things that change a family dynamic and therefore the homeschool dynamic. So you kind of, and then also a point to make about, I think a lot of people assume that homeschooling is just full of Christians. Well, so much of the curricula out there can be applied to a variety of faiths or no faith at all. Some might choose curriculum choices that are focused on great literature, or other things that are devoid of faith. So you kind of go with what is your unique situation. So that's all I'm going to say in this video. I'm going to move on in the next one and tell you more about specific family situations. Thank you.